So now, it has been a moment, but everything is iron. Sasa, there's been some great news that has come out from America. Now, there's this show, as you can see, the Acolyte. It's like an offshoot of the Star Wars franchise. In my opinion, it is not really in this universe because it became this strange battleground for social issues in the West. This one particularly. Okay. I can't help it. Let's just watch because I'm going to react to this guy I follow called Nadrotic. He's an American YouTuber. He's basically, he talks about movies, video games, entertainment in general. And these are kind of one of the first, this is the generation that was one of the first fans of this franchise, like Star Wars and whatnot. But as if you follow at all the industry over there, it changed a lot, and a lot of people came in that are pushing this wokeness. They've ruined the storytelling because they are basically, what they are doing is that they're inserting their politics and their whatever in the movies in such an uncreative fashion and in such a condescending fashion to the people that actually, the fan base that built these franchises, that it's gotten to a point, basically these guys are making money now, making fun of these products they are producing. First, this Acolyte. Remember I did a reaction. Anyway, he'll cover a lot of this. So let's listen to Nadrotic and see, because the Acolyte is cancelled, and that's a good thing. So, to the cause.
The power of two, the power of many.
In my opinion, this is the scene that cancelled this show. If you remember when you were young, like in primary school, when you're trying to come up with chants, for African whatever, you do such childlike, chants, For me, that's how it felt to me, because it felt childlike, But you see, there's something even deeper on this, because what they're trying to also to push, that's what I was talking about, the politics. It's not the power of men, it's like a communist thing. They have this stupid thing going on. Communism, it's a resurgence, all this identity politics, it's all around that. But that is why they were talking about the power of, they were not creative enough to come up with a chant that would express that emotion, other than just, you can tell that a lot of these people who've been given these opportunities really are not worth their salt. They're just there either because they are women, or they are gay, or they are black, or they are whatever, anything else other than competent. Anyway, tuendelee, naongea sana.
The power of one.
Oh, cringe.
The power of two.
Oh.
The power of many.
No,
Nerdrotic.com.
Come on.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions in the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. In a week where Mark
I've
Hamill has used
subscribed.
Star Wars as a platform
5
to
years.
tell a sizable portion of the fandom to fuck off.
Yeah, now this is the thing. This is, what was his name? His one was like in the second? Is it the second part of the Star Wars? He's like the hero and everything. But he's become this really cringy old man. Walk, very cringy, and oh my God, this guy. Like sometimes, like when you admire these actors, you see them on the social media really ruined these people, because now we see just how much of idiots they are, just how self-absorbed they are, so arrogant. Then you realize they're really paper thin, other than just being famous for the acting. They really have no depth. Huh?
Twice.
Oh, jamaa
May
kuna-
the force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself.
You see, like that's now, of course, in the orange man, it's election here. So these guys, they don't realize that these franchises are built by people from all sides of all political divides. It doesn't matter who. Movies are not there, or especially art generally. When you see artists starting to pander to the powerful, the court jester who's always kissing the bosses, the king's ass. This is what these people are. They're inherently corrupt. They're cowards because they have to defend what they have. They need the exposure, the jobs. So they formed this cult over there in Hollywood where very few people are allowed in. And I've seen a lot of Kenyan filmmakers starting to lean. Like, I'm telling you now, you are headed down a road of emptiness. Creative emptiness, money, nothing. You see, these people, they're spending the money and the fat that was created by the greater works before them. That's what they're spending. They're spending that equity now, including the fan equity. Tuendelee.
Presents to MAGA, go forth yourself.
Ah, shut up.
And all this happened within a year that's been pretty bad for Disney Star Wars. Well, things just got worse for them, but much better for humanity. Because I thought I was out, but they keep pulling me back in. The Acolyte's back in the
you love
news.
it.
Because it turns out it wasn't a very good idea.
You love it. I love bashing these shows. It's because they have so much money to do these shows, and they always produce such garbage. Like it's something else.
To hire former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, to head a Star Wars show. And then
By the way, yes, that's the person who's the one, this woman, she's Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. So why is she here? After what she knew what the guy was doing. Why is she here? This place has been turned in, it's really nepotism, corruption of the highest order. That's why you're seeing a lot of the products they release. It's not by real artists. These are not real artists. These are connected bureaucrats masquerading as filmmakers.
give the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, $180 million to actually make it. Turns out
This guy, that's what I was telling you guys before. This is money laundering.
it probably wasn't a good idea to attack the fans before the show even came out. And I would say at least it was ill.
By the way, why do they attack? Okay, you see, you have to be very arrogant as an artist to attack and abuse the people that make you relevant. You have to be extremely dense to do that. But it's been, for the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's been like the staple of Hollywood. If they're doing any of this woke stuff, then people don't like it. Oh, misogyny, oh, racist. It's lost all meaning. So right now what's happening is that they're losing money. This show, it's basically one of the worst rated by anyone.
Advised to let anybody creatively involved with this show, especially the adult pretenders, to talk to anybody at all.
Yes.
Although I do appreciate their honesty because it was indeed the gayest Star Wars ever made. It's pretty.
Oh man, that's the main actress. Oh, she released. I watched a song she released. She's clapping back at the fans that didn't like the show, which is the majority. Like, it was a cringe song. She thinks she's so cool. She thinks she's all that. It's, arrogance. It's normally sometimes you can see somebody who's really talented and is arrogant a bit. You're like, yeah, okay. But these people are basic. Mtu yote, any actor from Upper Kenya can go and fill that role over there and she will be forgotten. They are not profound actors, but they have been given this platform where they think now they're above everyone, morally, everything. They're the ones who tell you, oh, you're an actress. Can't even describe a woman. What are you telling me?
Yeah, let's be honest.
And it turns out the most ill-advisable thing of all was actually releasing the show. And then the world got to see former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, take
like
George
when he keeps
Lucas's
on
lore on
repeating
8
that.
separate trips to Harvey's private suite, where it became the living embodiment of the South Park meme.
Put another gay diverse woman in it. Make it more f***ing.
Fires in
That
space,
episode
communist
was
lesbian
people.
space witches, conceiving
Mad.
identical twins, played by the same actress, exactly the same way. Witches conceiving identical twins, played by the same actress, exactly the
Now, this thing of where the actresses they put up always have to have this resting beach face, feminists. After if you look at, say, what was this show? The Rings of Power, the main, the Galadriel, same, this kind of look, but then, in fact, I don't know, I'll add the picture of her, like, riding a horse, and this weird smile she has. It's like, she doesn't know how to really smile honestly. Like, she doesn't, so this is weird. Anyway.
Same way, more lesbians in space.
Basically, no talent. That's what I'm saying. They don't have the layers, these actors. It's just that one. Or two.
Inappropriate Jedi-Padawan relations, Jedi-abetes, and a bad guy straight out of the worst kind of fan fiction. Watching Disney Star Wars commit Mary suicide was glorious because I got some good news and I got some bad news. We'll start with the bad news because I feel a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of YouTubers suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened, and it has. The Acolyte's been canceled. But then there's the good news. The Acolyte's been canceled. This crime against imagination that committed creative genocide being cut down.
By the way, watch that show if you have time to waste. Probably you would have been doing it to cleaning your toenails or something. You'd watch 2 episodes and you'll know what he's talking about.
Is a
there's no the story doesn't make sense. There's a lot of plot holes. There's so much. I can't even anyway.
Massive win for the fandom, for all things good and humanity. Her deadline exclusive. The Acolyte canceled. No season 2 for D+'s Disney Star Wars series. And no, there is no Star Wars that died in 2012. There's only Disney Star Wars. The story of the Acolyte will not continue, with Lucasfilm opting not to proceed with the second season of the Disney Star Wars offshoot starring Amandla Stenberg, sources tell Deadline. Word of the decision comes more than a month after the 8-episode first and last season of the series from creator, director, executive producer, showrunner, and former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein, Leslie Headland, wrapped its run on D+. I have to give Deadline credit on this one. They're being far more realistic about the canceling of the Acolyte, far more than their comrades in the Access media who will be coping for the next week. The news is not entirely surprising. Well, it is and it isn't. In a normal reality, of course this show would be canceled. But
yeah, this is the thing though. There are a lot of bad, like good shows they cancel early, because the storylines are not leaning towards their politics. And there's a lot of really horrible shows that they give extra seasons on a season just because they're pushing the message, whatever that message, that DEI, I don't know, inclusivity, nyef thing. If they're pushing that, then they'll add us. They waste so much money. Like, that's why for me, it's so insidious. Like, they're willing to spend and lose so much money because they're not stupid people. They know, like, okay, this kind of stories, these storylines are what I'm doing, this and that will lose us money, but they don't care. So that should that's why, like, I'm always so suspicious of people who are willing to lose money for an idea, an ideology. Sorry, not an idea, an ideology. Very, very suspicious, because in the end, the money you make at the top validates the work you've done. The profits, the what, you have the fans, the customers, and what. That's the business we do. Because me, I'm not one of those pretentious people. It's the money at the end, because the money allows you to do all the other things. But they're willing to lose it. They get more. They lose it. They get more. Like, it's so weird. And they're losing like hundreds of millions of dollars, not change.
Don't live in that world. Normally, D+ would give this a season 2, and God, I was hoping it would, but unfortunately, #renew the Acolyte failed. The Acolyte did okay with critics with 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's more than
You see, never really look at those that they called the critics scores. They are paid for. A lot of these guys, they have to give a positive review because they need the perks they get from the production houses and whatever, and sponsors and whatnot. So it's already a very skewed setup, because even these production houses own a lot of these big time blogs that talk about these products. So it's really like the same people who produce are also the same people that talk about it and, you know, try to sell it to you. Like, so it becomes sort of like a con game. You don't really know whether something is good or not until you spend the money on it, which I think is unfair. I think it should be as, like, you already know this thing, these people are not going to enjoy it, but you're pretending like they will. So, and you charge at the end. It's a con game.
Okay, don't try to absolve yourself from this, but
Because they do know this crap this stuff is dog shit. They know. They know a bit.
divided Star Wars fans, which reflected in its overall viewership. Might want to check your math on that one because Divided is an 18% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4.1% score on IMDb, and a 3.9% user score on Metacritic. All your trailers getting ratioed and clips
Even
from the actual
my
show
short
showing
films
up
can't
on
get that
X,
on
Twitter,
Rotten
and
Tomatoes.
getting roasted to the tune of millions of impressions. If by divided you mean overwhelming majority hated it, sure.
Yes.
Driven by the interest into this venerable franchise.
And you see, these articles, they massage the truth. They just, they tell you, okay, yeah, this thing is horrible, but it's not as horrible as, you see, their work is to PR their way out of this crisis. But they can't because the fans these days are exchanging information like this so quick. That's why you have to be honest online because information passes so fast. A culture is formed so fast for or against you. So, and then these guys behave like nothing is happening, like they're feeling it in their pocket. But they have to know there's nobody's really talking. When they're talking about it, when they're talking about now properly, they will just call them names, basically. It's very juvenile.
Which is a testament to what George Lucas created because Disney Star Wars has been crap for a decade. The Acolyte got off to a strong start when it launched June 4th, with 2 episodes generating 4.8 million views in its first day on the streamer, to rank as the biggest series premiere on D+ this year, most of them being YouTubers. But the Acolyte could not sustain the momentum, dropping out of the top 10 in week 3 and staying off before returning to number 10 after the release of the finale.
Okay, I'm gonna jump
that
to
it
the
wasn't
numbers.
media. Disney Star Wars series won't return for season 2. While Deadline said it wasn't a surprise, the Acolyte spotlight a surprise gift of the Jedi as infallible and wholly virtuous. Other fans, however, the ones who were correct, felt that those creative choices were antithetical to the good versus evil nature of Star Wars storytelling and strongly objected to the show's expansion, you misspelled desecration, of the mythology of the Force.
Now, that is... it's at 8 minutes. I think I'll stop there just watching it. So maybe you guys can go and watch the rest of it. And there's a lot of good content on there on his channel. So go and watch Nadrotic there. But that's the thing. Like right now, this show has been cancelled despite the fact that there's every there's every incentive for the producers to continue because right now the money is starting to run dry. All the preachiness, all the actresses sneering at fans and whatnot, all that, I never understood it. I think there are quarters that have so much money that they test out things to see what's the reaction, or maybe they're collecting data, or maybe whatever it is, or maybe they're just darling the industry for whatever it is. I can't make the motivations as many people say. It seems it's a control thing. But why would you want to control people with mediocre nonsense that they lose interest in? Like it's such a difficult thing to explain a lot of the times because it makes very little sense in artistic endeavors, in business endeavors, in terms of PR, all the things that this industry is basically made for, they disregard. But it's because everybody in the West has gone crazy with this weird ideology. They're trying to shoe it on in everything. Everything you do, they want to shoe it on. Oh, now this current Kamala. Kumbuka kikuja Ghana. And tell, we have many problems. But she came to Ghana to tell people about LGBTQ. That's what we must support. Of every problem we have here, the hunger, lack of jobs, industrialization, water, waste disposal, political corruption, judiciary, police. Like I can name more important things off the top of my head right now, but that's what she came here to push. We have to be extremely careful. Films are very, very powerful tools of transmitting culture. What we do with our art will determine how our society, not totally, but it will determine how our industry goes. Whether you become puppets just waiting for little handouts from some funders so you can do your little films, or you can go out there and do a business. Stop leaning so much on this activism nonsense, because there is nothing creative about being an activist. It's pretense. We all know now it's pretense. So if you continue doing it, when you insert it in your art, you lose funds, because a lot of the times these things take, these days it doesn't take time. Very quickly people will know this or that. So if you guys as Kenyan filmmakers decide that this is the way you guys want to go, I'm just showing you this because this is the most profitable, biggest film industry in the world. But you can see what happens when you inject nonsense in business, especially in the creative space where there's so much freedom to do what you want. That means you now have to really have the mind to basically remove all the noise so that you can focus on the important and the beautiful and the creative, so that you don't become these people everywhere. Kila mtu anajifanya ni activist. None of you are activists. Most of you are corrupt. Mnaiba kila siku hapa, mnalisha watoto wenu vitu mnaiba, and you're still here everywhere. Like that shit makes me, it drives me insane, because most people mmekuwa pretenders na msikii na utai kuambiwa, si mlipiga kelele, mko wapi sahi? Because you're pretenders. It's what is happening to these people. It's been happening to us for a long time, but even before we start growing as properly as an industry, you started bringing this nonsense here. Everywhere tunaenda, ni ma-activism tu ndio mnataka mfund. I talked to a filmmaker juzi who told me that she can't do a film unless the woman looks powerful and the best and the most moral. So that's already, you realize this is not a creative. You realize this is just an activist masquerading as a creative. I actually was very disappointed in such a narrow-minded thought process. So yeah, that's my reaction. I'm very happy these shows are they are tanking, because whether we like it or not, we are taking a lot of cues from the West on these things, because anyway, they did it best before us. But we have to find, storytelling is not a West thing. We have very good stories local stories that are universal that we can do. We just don't need to continue being puppets to some of the most uncreative, pretentious garbage on the planet. That's what you want to attach yourself to? Guys, have some self-respect. Come on! Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Tell me your worst. Do you think I am being out of order? No, I don't think so.